Hello, everyone. I thought I would drop into live to kind of experiment reactivating my occupational therapy Facebook group. I had such a wonderful experience a couple weeks ago at the OTs and Pelvic Health Summit, which had a way of the online OT community feeling so welcoming and so nourishing, especially to diverse perspectives and different ways of relating to practice. Um, since I have returned to school, and honestly, since before I even became an OT, I've always been a specialist in advocacy-centered occupational therapy services, and later that evolved into becoming passionate about occupational science literacy and connecting to the open science movement for some of the access barriers that field clinicians and clients of rehabilitation and therapy services experience accessing literature and evidence and ways that we can enhance practice because I don't know about you guys, but I've certainly experienced all sorts of challenges in the field applying practices that are genuinely transformative for clients. So really for the past decade, I've been doing field research across practice settings to see where there are avenues for hope for occupation-based, focused, and centered practice. Um, in that pursuit, I ended up experiencing a lot of, resistance, a lot of pushback, a lot of mixed reactions from members of the occupational therapy community from different levels that I now understand really connect back to a lot of the systems that our nervous systems are navigating and harms that we're also transpiring. I've also benefited from gaining a lot more insight on my own occupational development in relations to neurodivergence and different interacting with like institutional settings that have been received as like some forms of physiological trauma, and whatnot. But anyway, the warm receipt from the pelvic health community actually made it feel kind of safe to maybe tread back into some of the occupational therapy waters and gave me the sense that there might actually be renewed interest in some of the lenses that occupational science prompts us to look at practice through. And so I'm open to sort of testing this out. And it sounds like there are indeed other OTs that have been navigating some of the challenges that I've been experiencing. I sort of have this lone wolf complex, and that isn't super helpful. But I am all about building community and would love to connect more with occupational therapists on the platform that want to creatively problem solve and start thinking about occupational therapy practice in different ways and learning and getting exposure to occupational science and things outside of institutional gatekeeping mechanisms and whatnot. So if that's something that you're interested in, I would love if you considered following and would love to connect with other OTs on how you're balancing out navigating rapid changes in these systems, creative ways to look at how we're supporting our own occupational well-being, the demands of our employers and seeking transformative outcomes and wanting to break OT out of restrictive silos with practices that don't even really meaningfully make sense, or feeling sort of pressured or at times like kind of bullied by the systems that you're working in, or other professionals that have limited beliefs or understanding of occupational therapy scope or regulation, intergenerational challenges. If that sounds like you, I would love to connect and build community. I feel much more emotionally regulated. I think that there's this kind of correlation between post-doctoral depression and postpartum depression and postdoctoral depression that I think I've come out of in many ways. So hello again here, and I'm planning on releasing a new episode of the Engaging Occupational Science podcast this week after nearly a year of sabbatical. So yeah, just jumping on to say hi and hoping to produce more content for you all this year. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you.